Okay, when I constantly saw trailer after trailer of this movie in theaters, almost every single time we went to the theaters, I didn't really feel excited for this movie. And in all honesty, the trailer made it seem like this could be a real big bore fest. And after seeing pretty average to bad reviews of this movie, I thought, okay, maybe this will be another Aloha. And if I would have considered this a bad movie, I would have started with the line, joy. The only emotion I didn't feel during this movie. But to be honest, I actually did feel some joy in this movie. I kinda liked it. So Joy is loosely based off of a true story about a woman named Joy. In this, Jennifer Lawrence plays Joy. When she was a young girl, her grandmother gives her the notion that she can be whoever she wants to be. Even at a young age, she was trying to make inventions and things that would just benefit everyone else. After several years of taking care of her very dysfunctional family, she eventually takes it upon herself to bring out her invention, this one important mop, to bring to the world. Of course, she has to go over several hurdles, and mainly due to her dysfunctional family dragging her down. That's all I really want to say about Joy, to give you a brief hint of what this movie's about. Now, I haven't seen all of David O. Russell's movies, especially his earlier ones and back in the 90s. But out of the 4 that I have seen from him, I thought 2 of them were absolutely stunning and amazing, those being The Fighter and Silver Linings Playbook. And while I did really enjoy American Hustle, I was a bit disappointed, especially after the other 2 films that I saw from him. And to be honest, I wasn't looking forward to Joy. I didn't think this would be good. I thought, okay, this is going to be boring, but I did have some fun time with it. It does feel a bit of a mixture with American Hustle and Silver Linings Playbook because it has some really funny, comical, great dialogue. Dysfunctional family is pretty similar to Silver Linings Playbook, but not as drastic and as funny as Silver Linings Playbook. But it also has a pretty decent drama and a pretty good character-driven story, and I thought Jennifer Lawrence did a really good job as the main character. And it's kind of funny that both Jennifer Lawrence and Bradley Cooper were both in a movie together that is in my top 10 worst films of 2015, but they did a really great job in this movie, and so did Robert De Niro, and the whole cast was really great. Even the guy that played Bodhi in the remake of Point Break, he did a really good job as the ex-husband of Jennifer Lawrence's character. I do have to say that this movie at least kept my interest, and I did care for the characters, and I thought the dysfunctional family was both funny and dramatic because they are bringing her down. It does feel like an important story and a good story to tell, but I don't feel that they went about it in the best way they could have. I think if it wasn't for a few moments that I disliked and a few messy moments in the story itself, I probably would have liked it as much or even more as American Hustle. Some of the things I really disliked from the movie is the narration of the grandmother, because there is a narration throughout the film sporadically from the grandmother, but I felt that the narration in this film was completely unnecessary. I think the relationships of the characters, the gravitas of the film, could have been still handled well without the narration whatsoever. The dream sequences, the nightmares that Jennifer Lawrence has during 2 times in the film was just a little really off, I felt. The whole soap opera beginning is kind of weird and off and just feels terrible, but it makes sense as the movie progresses, and I thought, okay, I understand why that's there. I just don't know if it should have been the first scene of the movie. And even though I do really enjoy most of the dialogue in the film, especially some of the funnier, more comedic elements of the dialogue, I feel there are certain moments throughout the dialogue that feel a little clunky, feel a little bit forced, feel as though they are just too expository. And some of the symbolisms in the movie are a little too obvious, and then they beat the nail over the coffin several times with some of the symbolisms, almost as, okay, if you didn't get it beforehand, which you probably did, we're gonna introduce it again, and so you know exactly what the symbolism is for. One of them being the 17 years that a cicada goes into hiding. Like, it's pretty heavy-handed with some of its symbolisms. So I can understand some people disliking this and being bored out of their minds, and some of these elements just aren't quite working for Joy. But at the same time, I was interested, I was invested with the characters, I liked some of the comedic moments, I liked some of the dramatic moments. I did feel for Jennifer Lawrence's character and felt like, okay, get it. And so when that ending happens, I was totally rooting for her, and I loved almost the entire ending of the film. So overall, I was surprised by this film, but that's probably because I went into it thinking, oh, this is probably going to be really boring and terrible, and I had very low expectations for the movie. I know my cousin, he has a pretty similar score to mine about how he feels about this movie, but he went into it having completely high expectations and then ended up being disappointed. So if you go into slightly lower expectations, you might find it likable and enjoyable like I did. So I'm going to give Joy 3.5 stars. It's probably more of a 3.75, but I don't do quarters for, at least for 2015 films. So I'm going to go with 3.5 stars. It's almost quite a 4. American Hustle is a 4 for me, but The Fighter and Silver Linings Playbook, they're both actually 5s for me. So, have you seen Joy? What did you think about it? Go ahead and comment. If not, what is your favorite David O. Russell film that you've seen? I haven't seen a lot of his earlier works. I've only seen 4. So, when it comes to The Fighter versus Silver Linings Playbook, I think I'm going to have to go with Silver Linings Playbook. Come to think of it, a lot of the elements from The Fighter do feel like they're in Joy as well, with the whole dysfunctional family and keeping Joy down. Actually, Joy is very, very similar to The Fighter in that way. I didn't think about that until now. But as always, this is Bruce Gifford, and this was Just My Opinion.